The Emerald City, Eugene, Oregon, is the subject of today's episode of The Family Vacationer. This outdoor-minded area has produced many great Olympic runners. It's birthed a huge corporation in Nike, and it's home to famous sports venues and more. Episode 99 starts right now.
Welcome to The Family Vacationer with Rob and Danny. The go-to podcast for families on the move.
Welcome, friends. I'm Rob.
And I'm Danny.
And this is episode 99 of The Family Vacationer. We are one episode away from 100, believe it or not. Make sure and tune in next week as we celebrate 100 episodes of The Family Vacationer. What a journey it has been so far, Dan.
Yes, that's right. It's been a lot of fun.
Yes. So make sure and follow us on all of our channels on Facebook, on Instagram, and for the video version of the podcast on YouTube. Also, don't forget about last week's show as we took a look at Austin, which is a really cool and quirky, unique town. You don't want to miss that episode. And as always, if you enjoy the show, please tell your friends and family about the podcast.
All right, today we continue to look at college towns by focusing on Eugene, Oregon. Now, as we mentioned in the opening, Eugene is an outdoors-minded town with bicycle and hiking trails, lush parks, beautiful waterfalls. The outdoors is really one of the stars of this unique city. Now, Eugene is one of the three largest cities in Oregon and actually one of the fastest growing cities in the country. The University of Oregon is nestled here in the Willamette Valley, and both the Pacific Ocean and Cascade Mountains are within an easy drive. There's so much to love about Eugene.
Andy, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, we appreciate you being with us. I want to start off by talking about Saturdays in the fall. What are the football Saturdays like in Eugene?
It's a pretty special time. People get pretty excited here. I'm not sure it quite measures up to the SEC, but we have a lot of fun, and people come and fill up Autzen Stadium and make it loud for sure.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. So if you're planning to come to town for a game, now how early do you recommend reserving a hotel or your RV spot?
I played football here at Oregon. Now my freshman year was like 44 years ago. So when I played, that wasn't a real big problem. Nowadays, it's a little more challenging. When my son played in college, we used to book our room as soon as the schedule came out a year in advance and lock down those rooms. And I think that happens a lot around here as well. We it's not a huge community, it's several 100,000 in the metro area, but we only have about 4,000 hotel rooms. And so things fill up pretty quickly. And so we always encourage people to do that in advance.
Mm-hmm.
So on a typical football weekend, when do the festivities start? Thursday, Friday? When does it start?
I think, people roll in on Friday, and, all depends on the time of the game and those kinds of things. But,
right.
They open up the parking areas around the stadium, I think 6 hours before the game, and the fun begins. So, it's a great time, the fall here. And I know everybody is looking forward to this coming season with the new coach.
For sure. Well, for families that have potential students that might want to go to the University of Oregon, what are the spots in town that they need to see in order to be comfortable with Eugene?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. And I think, our staff here at Travel Lane County, when we get questions about that from visitors, we always have to remind ourselves it's not necessarily what we like. So we always like to ask them, what do they like to do, and kind of find out what their interests are, because Lane County is 4,700 square miles. It stretches from the Pacific Ocean all the way up to the crest of the Cascade Mountain Range. So it's roughly the size of Connecticut. It's a big county with a lot of things to do. So, we want to know what people like to do. But, just right here in the urban area, there's some really accessible, easy hikes that, people can go on, get a nice look of the valley from, hiking for 30 minutes up, one of the buttes that's really close by. If they want something a little more challenging, you can, drive 20 or 30 minutes or an hour and, again, be into either the Coast Range or the Cascade Mountains.
Mm.
We have just beautiful waterfalls. The second highest waterfall in Oregon, a place called Salt Creek Falls, is about an hour east of here. It's 286-foot waterfall that you can hike down into and around. And, just the outdoor recreation is just easily accessible. It's not crowded. And we can really match people up with their ability and what they'd like to do. The Willamette Valley is known for a lot of great agriculture, and over the years, it's become quite a wine region. So, for families that maybe have older kids or like to leave the kids with grandparents and go out and do a little wine tasting, this region was named Wine Growing Region of the Year back in 2016 for the entire world. So it's pretty well known for its wines, and it stretches from here in the South Willamette Valley all the way up to the Portland area. So I think last count there was over 1,100 wineries, vineyards in Oregon. So no shortage of choices on that front, in addition to being a craft beer mecca as well. So if that's your bent, then we got you covered there as well. But, we've got a great arts culture here, whether it's visual arts, a lot of nice galleries, museums, great performing arts. So there's lots of choices for folks there. And again, the water sports in the outdoor areas, we've got two rivers that run right through Eugene, Springfield, the Willamette and the McKenzie River. McKenzie is really well known for its fishing. And so we've got those kind of options with lots of lakes nearby as well. So, it just going to depend on what people like. But, the big destination over here for visitors, or probably one of the top ones, is the Oregon coast. Something special about the Oregon coast is it's over 400 miles, or right around 400 miles long, and it's all public access. There's no privately owned portions of the beach. So the entire coastline of Oregon is accessible to everyone. So that's always a popular destination as well.
Awesome. I asked a friend who knows Eugene well, just about the city, and he had two words: outdoors and the arts. So those things sum up the city pretty well. This is off topic just a little bit. I'm just curious, what kind of influence overall does Nike have on Eugene? I know, and how many uniform combinations does the football team have? Those are two burning questions.
Well, when I played, we had one pair of pants and two shirts, home and away, that was it, two jerseys. But now, they've got an equipment room with so many choices. It's a little bit mind-boggling. So I don't know if there's an answer to how many combinations there could be there.
Infinity,
but,
right?
Yeah, but Nike is the birthplace of Nike, and just the kind of the jogging culture was born here for the United States, was born here in Eugene. And that continues today. We've got a lot of great off-street bike paths, but also off-street running paths. We have the Prees Trail that runs through a big city park here that lots of people access while they're here. Always high on the list is to go see Prees Rock, where Steve Prefontaine died. But, Nike and Phil and Penny Knight have just, been great to this area and to the university. In terms of both the athletics and on the academic side. We have a state-of-the-art science center that's being built largely with money that was donated by the Knights, and that's going to produce some amazing scientific discoveries. So they have their hands on a number of things here, but we're really fortunate that we've been able to benefit from that, and I think good things are going to happen.
For sure. The track stadium's world class as well, right?
Yeah, we just came off our biggest, year of track and field here, and that's saying a lot for an area that has such a history of track and field. We started with the track season, the collegiate season back at the end of March, and I'm a volunteer and official at the track. I think this is my 31st year working out there. And we had to meet virtually every weekend all through the spring, and then culminating with the World Athletics Championships that just ended here, where we hosted athletes from 197 countries from around the world. And basically the Olympic Games of track and field in the off year. So that was pretty special to have all those athletes here, and fans from over 40 countries and fans from all 50 states descending on little community, but everybody rose to the occasion, and we had a great time, and it came off without a hitch.
That's a good segue. What about what are the events and the festivals in the area that may be of interest to families?
We have a number of ongoing, long-term festivals, and on our website we have a tab that really covers those festivals, and people can learn a little bit more about the annual ones. Sometimes there's new ones that pop up, but we have big ones, like the Oregon Country Fair, which I think has been going for over 4 decades now. Happens every July, a 3-day event outside of Eugene, Springfield. But coming right up here in the next couple of weeks, a little town north of here called Junction City is hosting their Scandinavian Festival, which is always a fun one. Another one that's been around a long time, where you get to learn about Scandinavian culture, get yourself a meat pie or a able skeever, and throw down a beer and learn a little bit about Scandinavian culture. So, there's, I think, a little bit of something for everybody in that realm. Again, I think, going to our website, kind of learn a little bit about those details is the way to go there. We also have some new ones. There's a group starting a Black Cultural Festival. We're really excited to be a sponsor of that this year. That's coming up towards the end of August. But a lot of those, happen in the May to August time period. We transition in August to the fall season, and
Best time
winter here is not really a festival season for us.
Right. You're right.
Yeah. All right. So we want to ask you about the food scene there. Families are visiting. What restaurants do they need to have on their list?
We've got great local food, farm to table type of restaurants that people really should put on their list. We have the national chains that everybody can go to and access if they need something quick. But, with a little bit of research, we've got just great local food. We have quite a food and beverage manufacturing sector here in the region. The Willamette Valley is pretty vast in terms of all the agricultural land that's available and what's grown here. So, I think some of these local restaurants are the ones really to investigate. And so, again, I think we would probably put that question back on them in terms of what kind of cuisine they like, whether it's kind of French inspired or it's kind of traditional farm to table type food. We've got lots of good choices there, and we can direct folks to some good ones. I know what my favorites are, but I think we would defer to what people's interests are and be able to direct them to something really good.
Yeah,
for sure. Well, I know that Eugene is a large city, so I know you've got all the national chains when it comes to lodging. But can you recommend some family friendly lodging in the area?
Yeah, one of the things with the heat wave we've had going on, Travel Lane County staff, I think, do a great job of developing content for families. And one of the ones I was reading the other day was a blog written about, the best hotels with pools, because it's 100 degrees here right now. And that's not exactly the usual weather for us. But there's a number of really good hotels here with swimming pools. I know when my kids were little and my grandkids now, I mean, that's kind of the question, like, do they have a pool? Can we go to the pool? There's kind of the flagship kind of hotels that you're going to find in different places, the Best Western, those sorts of things. And then you've got some great, locally owned hotels that offer some really nice amenities for families as well. And so, a couple of those that come to mind, the Inn at the Fifth and the Gordon, those are really very, very nice hotels right here in the heart of downtown that give people access to parks and the downtown area. And then you've got and that's kind of at the higher end, but you also have the more budget hotels as well that are available. So I think that's the nice thing, is there's a good range of options for people in the commercial lodging. And then we also, have, like other places, great short-term rental options. I think, for families anymore, I think some of the short-term rentals are good options as well, to find a house in the area that you'd like to stay in. But also just because of the natural areas we have around here, we've got some great traditional kind of bed and breakfast and lodges that are close by that would really give people a unique experience to stay out, in the countryside or in the forest, accessible again to some of the nearby rivers or lakes. And so just a great range, I think, in lodging.
Yeah. Well, I know you wanted to defer a while ago, but we do like to get a little bit personal, if you don't mind. Let's say you have family and friends coming in to visit. Where are your favorite places to take them? Maybe restaurants or things to do, anything?
Yeah. Well, Eugene Springfield is one metro area. We're just separated by the Interstate 5. And, I think downtown Springfield should be on people's lists. They've got a historic downtown, and it's just exploded with some really good restaurants. There's places like George and Violet's, which is a steakhouse that does just really great steaks. There's a place called Tavern on Main. Kind of unique place over there that's a favorite is a place called Public House. It's a old stone church that's been turned into a big beer hall. So it's got great stained glass, high ceilings, big tap room, but it also has a giant commercial kitchen that is shared by 4 restaurants. So you have your choice of 4 different kinds of food there, and you can order via app, and they just bring it right to your table. Also has a little, I don't know if it was a library in the church or maybe the pastor's office, but they created a really neat little whiskey bar. It's kind of dark and secluded within the building as well. So Public House is a popular one in downtown Springfield as well, but lots of other good choices. A favorite of mine, just in a little community outside of Eugene Springfield, a little east of here, a place called Pleasant Hill. You wouldn't expect this, but it's a little kind of looks like a strip mall, and there's a place called the Chiapino House, which again is a farm to table restaurant, seats about 20 people, and just does an exquisite job with their food. So, those are some things that come to mind for me. Again, if you want great seafood, you can go to the historic Bay Street area over in Florence on the Oregon coast and get fantastic seafood. And so, again, I think there's lots of options for folks.
Awesome. Well, for more information on visiting Eugene, consult your travel agent and visit EugeneCascadesCoast.com. Andy, thank you so much for being on the show with us.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. And that's actually EugeneCascadesCoast.org.
.org. Thank you. I'll fix that.
Hey everyone, if you're ready to plan your next family vacation, call my dad. He would love to help you as a certified travel agent. He never charges a fee to help you plan your vacation. Email him at rjones@starsteptravel.com. Get started planning your vacation today.
That does it for this week's show. Join us next week as we celebrate 100 episodes of The Family Vacationer. We'll see you next time, friends.
Thank you for listening to The Family Vacationer. Make sure and subscribe to hear more of Rob and Danny.